Okay. Let me just forward this to the group. Here we go. We're on. Let's see what the Wi-Fi looks like too. Come join. Okay, I think everything's good. I mean, it looks good to me. I think it's okay. All right, cool. Hello, everybody. I am Richie Soares, the creator of Homeschool and Humor, and I have the most magnificent privilege to interview Katie J Trent. She is the creator of Family Faith Building, Family Faith Building Academy. She'll correct me, as well as very wonderful best-selling author of the book Dishing Out Devotions, as well as her upcoming book Recipes for a Sweet Child. We're going to talk today about some of the toughest questions we as parents are faced, and how all those answers to those toughest questions are in the Bible, and how Katie has put together 36 of those tough to face, kind of tough moments that your kids might have or might grow into, or just some of those tough problems, right? 36 of them. She has put them all together into her upcoming new book to help parents walk them through those tough moments and make them teachable moments and teachable lessons, as well as fun biblical activities for each of those moments. So Katie, do you want to say a couple words?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm so excited to be with you. She said my name's Katie, and I'm an author and a speaker and a homeschool mama of two. And I'm so excited to talk with you today about something that I'm really passionate about, and that is the Bible in our parenting, how we can effectively disciple our kids in fun, meaningful, and memorable ways. So thanks for hanging out with us, and we're excited to take your questions and support you along your parenting and homeschool journey.
Yes. I'm so excited that you're here with me today, Katie. I don't know if we've ever done a one-on-one face interview before, but I'm happy we're doing it today.
So am I.
Yeah. So before we jump in, tell me, what is your biggest tip right now, just off the top of your head, that you can give the audience today in relating to the topic that we're talking about with biblical answers to tough questions?
Yeah, I would say to just realize that you are equipped to disciple your kids. You know, it doesn't matter where you're at on your faith journey, where you're at on your parenting or homeschool journey. You have got everything you need because you have got a God who loves you, and you've got a Bible. And so everything is going to be okay. And we're going to show you how those are more than enough.
That's right. I can't wait to hear all about it. So, jumping straight into it, recipes for a sweet child, right? It takes a really unique approach to like weaving together the biblical teachings, emotional guidance, and even the baking recipes. So, can you tell us what kind of sparked this innovative concept, and how do you expect it to resonate with all the homeschooling families?
Yeah, well, just like you, I'm a busy homeschool mom, right? And so
Yeah.
in my life, as I've gone through this parenting journey, and despite the fact, I mean, I have a master's degree in social work, so I have spent many years counseling children, teens, families. My husband and I have been in ministry for over 15 years. So we've worked with a lot of families over the years. But even as a mom, even with all the knowledge and all the skills that I've acquired over the years, it's still hard to parent. Even if I know in my head, like what I should do, in that moment, it's hard and it can feel overwhelming. And so this book really came from a place of wanting a quick, easy reference for when you're losing your cool, when everything seems to be falling apart and you need to be able to help your kids through something, help your family through something. And so it just combined the things that I love and the things that have worked in my life and the lives of those that I've counseled in a way that just makes sense. I wanted it to be something you could literally just go and grab and pull off the shelf and say, okay, here is something to get us started. Here's a solution. I don't have to wonder or scramble or look through 50 million curriculum to find a solution. I have something practical right here at my fingertips.
Well, I love that. And I have the book right here, actually. And it feels good in my fingertips. Let's see. And it is so sturdy. Like, this book, it's thick too. It's like a lot thicker than I even anticipated. And it just feels good. It's like velvety kind of feeling. And it's right here on my bookshelf too. So I can just pull it out like, oh yeah, sibling rivalry. I'm just going to, let's see what Katie says.
Exactly.
So I love it.
And I've done counseling and I've done ministry for so long, and I love sitting across from a mama and sharing a cup of coffee and just having a conversation and supporting you. And so this is my way to be there for you when you're facing those tough struggles, to be able to be right there where you need. What does Katie say? Here you go. Here's help at your fingertips, no matter where in the world you are.
Yeah. I love that too, that you gave us a little bit of your background with your qualifications too. So, not that anybody necessarily needs qualifications to experience through life and go through things, but for me, it kind of comes somewhere, it just comes somewhere a little bit deeper for me whenever I know that, you have a master's in social work. So you studied this, like you took time out of your life and you paid money to study this topic. So you had like a huge vested interest in this topic. So I love that you gave your background, your qualifications, and all that good stuff. Because to me, it just kind of shows that you know what you're talking about. So especially
Right.
with the emotions, yeah.
Yeah, we're dealing with some really tough issues in this. When we're talking about bullying and grief, and we're talking about anxiety and depression and different things that our kids wrestle with, it does help to know that this isn't just somebody's opinion. This is something that has come from many, many years of practice and working with kids and seeing the positive fruit on the other end, seeing them grow into adults and become parents themselves and now use these things with their kids. It helps to know that, okay, I can use these tools and they're effective. It's not something that's just going to waste my time. They work.
Yeah. Do you use these for your home? This book?
Absolutely.
Or
Yeah. And we're actually getting ready for this school year to go through. We haven't done it in like the full book sense. And
mhm.
so this is going to be fun for us. My kids want to go back through it and actually do it like step by step. So we're going to go, A to Z through the book for the next 36 weeks of our school year because they love it and they've had a great time. They've tested all the recipes, like they've been a part of it all. And
Right.
there's lots of stories about my kids in here. And that was something too, when I started writing this book, I thought, okay, I'm going to get all my mom friends and I'm going to talk to people and have stories from different families. But as I was writing, it's like, oh, well, I have a story about this. Oh, well, yeah, I've dealt with this. Oh, yeah, my kids have had all of these struggles. So I don't even need to go anywhere else because they truly are the most common struggles that our kids face. And so I talk with my kids, especially my daughter now that she's older, and we read through it and made sure she was comfortable with me sharing, very personal things about her life with the world. And, they love it and they want to support other families as well. So I love that they're such a big part of this book.
Speaking of which, one of the I've read a lot of this book, and honestly, I just want to keep reading more. I promise. One of the parts that I did read was about how your daughter really had to learn about forgiveness. Could you tell me a little bit about that? I already know, but can you tell the audience?
Yeah. So my daughter, and it's funny because she was 3 years old. So why she remembers this, I don't know. But before we started homeschooling, we had her in a Montessori preschool, a wonderful preschool. And the teacher, Montessori, if you're aware of it, is very like child led, and they're doing their thing. But my daughter really liked like the life skills room, and she did not want to move to the number writing, letter writing room. And this teacher wanted her to at least go and try. And so she was trying to get her, and she didn't. She kind of grabbed her arm to like gently guide her. But for my daughter, that felt very invasive. And she was very upset that this teacher pulled her arm and tried to force her to do something that she did not want to do. And
Mm-hmm.
so we had to talk to her from age 3 about how to forgive her teacher and let that go. And I didn't think it was going to be a huge struggle, but for her, it hit deeply. And so for years, she kept bringing it up. And it was like every conversation and with strangers and people, I'm like, whoa, there's
Yeah.
unforgiveness here. This is not something we should still be bringing up. And so we had to work with her over those years of what does it look like to forgive someone? How do we know that we've truly forgiven them? What does our heart feel like when we've let that go? What does our mind feel like when we let that go? What do our words sound like when we let that go? And so that's the example I use in the unforgiveness is how do we help our kids navigate? Because sometimes it's easy, right? Like, oh, you said a mean
Yeah.
name to me and now I forgive you and let's go play. But other
Yeah.
times it's something that for whatever reason touches us very deeply and is harder to
Mm-hmm.
let go of. And so I thought that was a great example of those times where it's not so easy to let it go.
Yeah, I thought it was a wonderful example. And I'm glad you also mentioned about kind of like the time frame, because just like with everybody else, with us homeschool moms, we kind of go, and everybody does, even the kids go through our own seasons, right? So what her life and maybe how she would look at it today may be in a different perspective of how she looked at it when she was 3. And if she was holding on to that unforgiveness, maybe it just, you don't want it to take root, and grow. But it's neat because having a book like this, you can keep going back to throughout everybody's seasons, right? So I really liked that too, that you even mentioned her age and now the story now that you've told us. How old is she? 11?
She's 10 now. So yeah,
10?
so it's been 7 years of that, and this was fun. And like you mentioned, the great thing about this book is it really is from toddler to about teen. Now, if you've got like 16, 17-year-olds, a lot of the activities they might be too cool for, some of those activities, but really that like 3 to 13, 14 is the ideal range to help your kids through these things. And the lessons even say, okay, if your kids are younger, do this, but if your kids are older, you can add this or go in this direction or think about this. And so it's something that you can come back to. So even though my kids have done these activities and lessons before, going back through now, they've grown, they've matured, they're in a different place in their life. And so they're able to experience it and process it differently. And that's really the beauty of this parenting journey is seeing the growth in our kids and ourselves. And the
Mm-hmm.
discussions just get richer, the conversations, it's all just so much fun to see that growth process.
Right. It really is. I love conversating with my own kids and just hearing their answers now compared to even last year. It's just you can see almost like a tangible thing, their development. And it's really blows my mind. It really does. So let's go this way for a second. So the Bible has a solution for every problem we face, which is your tagline. And it's a very powerful tagline. So can you share with me the anecdote or the story behind that it's been proven true for you in your journey?
Yeah, so I think for me, I've always loved the Word of God since I got saved as an adult. And so, I was always reading it and looking for answers and studying it out. But with my kids, some things are easy. We know the Bible has something to say about anger. We know the Bible has something to say about unforgiveness, But some of these other parenting challenges that I would face, I began to wonder, like, what does the Bible have to say about this? And so that
Mm-hmm.
started that study of it, and for me specifically, like my kids went through a phase where they were tattling and tattling and tattling and tattling, and it was driving me crazy. And I was like, what does the Bible does is tattling in the Bible? So I'm like keyword referencing and I'm not seeing necessarily tattling. But then as I studied it out, it was like, oh yeah, the Bible does have some things to say about tattling. And that was one that really began to help me say, well, what does it have to say about these other struggles? And so that kind of started that journey.
Hmm. That's really neat. I didn't know the Bible talked about tattling either until your book. It's really neat. Just some of the issues that you bring up in your book. I believe the Bible has the answer to everything too. 100% agree with you right there. It's just interesting, like sibling rivalry and tattling, and it's just real interesting about how, I mean, it can apply to everything in your life. And I just love how you put it all together into this book and to make it, kind of like a lesson text, and then, um, like those teachable moments. Can you tell me a little bit about the teachable moments? I know it's nothing we even talked about discussing, but I loved that part in your book about making every issue, or I don't even know if we want to call it an issue, but every emotion a teachable moment. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, well, what I found, kids are very concrete in their thinking. And so we talk about all these big abstract concepts, and it can be hard for our kids to really understand what we're saying or how to navigate those. So I found anytime I can make something that's abstract very concrete, then it's easy for my kids to digest it. It's easy for them to understand and apply it to their life. And so when I started this, it was looking for how can I make this very concrete for my little ones? How can I make it concrete for my teenagers? How can I make it something that makes sense and actually works in their life? And so it is laid out. So I have a devotion for parents and a little prayer for parents, because if our heart's not right and we're not ready to go, then nothing else is going to work. And then I have what I
Mm-hmm.
call a teachable moment, which is like, as homeschool moms, like we're looking for lessons, right? We're trying to teach our kids something practical. And so that's that teachable moment. How can we really help them understand, what does the Bible say about this? What skills do I need? How can I overcome it? And then it's looking at that fun family activity. And then the way I did the baking recipe is that object lesson. So I have what I call a baking buddies. And that's really like a conversation or a little script that you can read that ties in what you're baking with the biblical principle. So for example, like for tattling, let's see here. So for tattling, it says the Bible teaches us if someone does you wrong, don't try to pay them back by hurting them. Try to do what everyone thinks is right. Do the best you can to live in peace with everyone. And that's from Romans 12:17-18 in the ERV. So I say today we're making tattle-free chocolate cookie trifles to remind us not to trifle with tattling, but instead to layer our lives with love and goodness. And then you can see the picture. This is one of my kids' favorites. Trifle here, with just like pudding and whipped cream and this delicious brownie, and so it just takes it and it makes it applicable. They're simple, they're easy, and they're fun.
Sorry, I was looking at my phone. I was getting lost in your pictures. It
They're
kind of has a
delicious.
delay, so I'm like, just there.
I know, it's like, don't talk over her. Wait, the joys of the internet.
Yes, yes. Okay, so your book promises to offer devotions that inspire parents, right? So, could you share one of these devotions with us and explain how it's shaped your own journey as a parent?
Yeah, so we were talking about tattling. Why don't we just stick with that, just so
Let's
they can kind of
let's do
see
it.
like the whole thing. But so the scripture, because we always start with the scripture, is James 4:11, and this is out of the Amplified. Says, believers do not speak against or slander one another. He who speaks self-righteously against a brother or judges his brother hypocritically speaks against the law and judges the law. If you judge the law, you are not a doer of the law, but a judge of it. And then the devotion says, oh, the endless tattling. I didn't know it was possible to find so many things to tattle on about each other about. But I've learned the possibilities are limitless, especially in high stress times. During seasons of transition, my kiddos struggled a lot with this behavior. Maybe you've been there too. We've already tried the whole only tell us if it's something major, like somebody's bleeding, dying, or doing something extremely unsafe. Well, wouldn't you know, those sweet little darlings' definition of major is everything, all the time. It sounds like this. He looked at me funny. She said sorry in a mean voice. He won't play how I want him to. She's bossing me around. I could go on and on, but for all of our sakes, I'll leave it there. Because I know, sweet mama, that you probably have plenty of tattling stories too. I often wondered why all kids seem to know to tattle from the time they're toddlers. As much as I hated to admit it, I realized it is a God given trait, an innate desire for justice and righteousness trapped in the
Mm-hmm.
heart of an underdeveloped brain and immature spirit. As parents, we get to wrestle with how to tame the tattling beast without stripping our kids of their desire to fight for what is right. No pressure, huh? Young children think very concretely and have great difficulty with abstract concepts. Things are right or wrong, black or white. They struggle to apply reason and logic in complex situations because their brains haven't fully developed yet. So when someone says a bad word, is mean to them, or breaks a rule, they compulsively run to the safety of their parents to set the world right again. Thankfully, with much effort and repetition, we can give our kids the tools to solve problems and resolve conflicts as they arise. We can encourage the heart behind it, at least when it's justice and not retribution. For the Bible warns, do not seek revenge or carry a grudge against any of your people. Love your neighbor as yourself. I am God. And that's Leviticus 19:18. So that's
Mm.
just kind of an example of how I help you to reframe the way you're looking at a problem, or I might offer some counseling type tips, or just share something to make it practical and to help you know that you're not alone. Because as moms, we always feel like we're doing something wrong, that we're failing in some way. And so, my hope is that you'll hear my heart and know that you're not alone and that you're going through such normal struggles.
Yeah, I loved that devotion with tattling. And I agree because your child wants to seek justice. I mean, I believe they're born knowing the right and the wrong, you know. Of course, we have to shape and mold it as they grow and develop, but I believe they are birthed with that innate knowledge of between right and wrong. So for them to seek justice just from tattling, like, Mom, Zoe did this. Mom, Zoe said this word. They know it's not right. And I love it because to me, I just see God in those little tattling moments, right? But they are immature in the spirit. So we need to help them, just guide them in the right direction on really how to use right and wrong knowledge, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And we see adults that are struggling with it, right? We see it all
Mm-hmm.
the time in the way they're responding on social media or how they're interacting with a neighbor or a leader at church. And so when we can teach our kids from a young age how to really walk with God and gain wisdom and knowledge and understanding and discernment, then they're set up for success in every area of their life. And it's from something as simple as, instead of just saying, stop tattling, you're teaching them that there's a purpose and it just needs to go from immature to mature in how we handle it.
Yeah. Well, I love what you put inside the book. So, um, and that's just one devotion out of 36. So you can just imagine how good it is and why I'm so excited about it. Okay, so let's move on a little bit. So just if y'all have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. And if you even see this on the replay, go ahead and put them in the comments and we'll still come back to you and we will answer them. Or Katie will, because these questions will be for Katie.
You never know.
No.
There could be one for you too.
Okay, maybe. Well, I only have one book, but it's not that I've authored, and it's not, well, it's a Bible study journal, but it's not like a devotion like yours. So I do want to do a book like that, though. I just don't know what direction to go.
I'm happy to help you.
Oh, and if y'all are wondering where you can learn more about this book, I put the link in the chat too. So it's simply homeschoolandhumor.com/Katie with an IE. So Katie, and that's it. Easy, simple to remember. Homeschoolandhumor.com/Katie. Okay, so moving right along. So you have crafted activities, right? These activities inside your book based on the Bible to help your kids or help kids navigate through their emotional, behavioral, and relational struggles. So can you give us a sneak peek of one of these activities, and how it can help address a specific common challenge?
Yeah, so they're set up and there's a couple different things. So the lessons
Mhm.
can kind of vary. Sometimes they're more activity based and sometimes they're more like writing or Bible based. And then there's
Yeah.
fun family activities, which same thing, they kind of vary. But for example, for stealing,
Oh,
the
I just
teachable
opened it up.
moment. Oh,
That was weird.
perfect.
Ah,
You're talking about, like, taking your child's most prized possession and saying, that you want it, so you're gonna keep it, and depending on your age, if you have a toddler, I warn you, they're probably gonna throw a massive fit. If they're older, there's different things. So I kinda walk through, like, what does that say? What does the Bible say about stealing and the 10 commandments and that sort of a thing, and giving you some scriptures and stories you can dive into. But the fun family activity is playing an old-fashioned game of cops and robbers and deciding, who will be the cops and who will be the robbers and going through this whole thing. But when you're done playing, I've got Isaiah 61:8, which says, "For I, the Lord, love justice. I hate robbery and wrongdoing. I will faithfully reward my people for their suffering and make an everlasting covenant with them." And then we've got the conversation connection. So you can have a conversation with your kids and talk about, what did it feel like to be the cop? What did it feel like to be the robber? How did you feel when you were on the right side and, you were doing good? And how did it feel when you were making these choices? And so you can really just take these fun
yeah.
things, but go deeper with them. And the fun thing about the book is it's set up so you can do it in a number of different ways. So you can do your devotion, and then maybe that same day you're going to do the baking recipe and read that little conversation connection from the baking buddies. And then the next day, maybe you're going to sit down and you're going to do that lesson and you're going to study out the Bible with them. And then maybe another day you're going to play that fun family activity. So you can use one or all of these activities and in different ways. So it's not something where you have to do it in a certain format to make it work. They all just are individual pieces to support you and help you with whatever works best for your family. Maybe you don't want to bake that day, so you want to play cops and robbers, or maybe you just want to have the conversation and you want to know what questions to ask to start that conversation. So there's just lots of things to interact with your kids and build a stronger relationship and make meaningful memories as you walk through these struggles.
And there's 36 of them. So traditionally, there's 36 weeks in the school year. Was that on purpose, or did that just happen to land like that?
Yes, that was on purpose. So my publisher with my first book, when I did 36, they're like, why 36? Because typically it's like a 20-day or a 30-day or 365. But for me, like, if I can do something once a week, like, that's pretty good. And so to have something you can do throughout the school year, just once a week in a few minutes a day, that was really the heart. Is this is something that will guide you through your whole school year.
Yeah.
I'm glad you caught
Um,
that was 36. What a homeschool mom you are.
I was just wondering at first, like 36, that has to be because of the weeks. Because I was thinking about, okay, how would we implement this? Well, we would implement it like in the morning, like during Bible time, which is when we like to do Bible time. And how would we do it? Well, there's 36, so we could just go through one kind of emotional week and study it like that, and even go deeper into it too. Like if we used up all your stuff, we could go deeper into the emotion.
Exactly, and it can play off whatever you're learning. There's so many different ways to incorporate it into your day, and it's as different as all of us homeschool moms. So no matter what your homeschool philosophy is or how your days look, you can find and make a way that works for you.
Yeah, that's true too. Because we homeschool 4 days a week, but I still like to do things on day number 5, 6, and 7, but not like worksheet kind of things. Because, to me, it's like a lifestyle. You don't stop learning, you incorporate learning throughout your day, right? Almost like unschooling in a way, is how I look at it. But for me, it's real important for my kids to really know God's word and just really build that relationship with him. And so we talk about it all the time. Me and my daughter are doing a study right now in James. And I mean, it's so cute too, seeing her sit down, get her Bible open. And I had got these cute little Bible study notes at teachingsunday.com. And so I like shared them with her. And so now she's using it on her little stylus and just going through doing the study. It's just so beautiful to see, really. And I just like just keeping that in the forefront of their minds, so that they just don't lose it as they go through their day. Really, I just want them to always just go there first for anything, to be thankful, to praise him for the wonderful things that's happened, or to go to him first to ask for guidance, just first in everything. So
Exactly. Well, and it's important for our kids to know, yes, go to God first, but also this relationship is a vibrant, fun, and practical
mhm.
relationship. I think when we see the studies of how many kids are leaving the faith after being raised in church, there's a disconnect. And so we have to look and say, like, what is the disconnect? And I think that it's that we haven't really fully incorporated God and our faith into every aspect of our life. And we haven't shown them how fun and wonderful it is to truly walk in a relationship intimately with Jesus Christ. And so when our kids are seeing, oh, this isn't just something they make me do, this isn't a box that I check, like this is something that actually helps me. And this is something fun. And when they think back on their life and they say, wow, like my best memories, the funnest times we've had, the best conversations we've had, the most amazing times we've had are all centered around God and the Bible. That makes it so their faith is something they never want to lose. It's all the best parts of their childhood instead of the worst. And so I think that's important as parents to really look at that and how we can do that with our kids.
And you've made a resource for that to happen.
Exactly, because I need it. So I figure somebody else probably needs it too, right?
Oh yeah, I do for sure. But I know that all the other homeschool moms, or just moms, period, I think that I know that they would love this book if they got it in their hands. It's just such a wonderful resource to just have on your shelf, have on your kitchen counter, and just to go to every day, every other day. Just there's an emotion you come up to, or some kind of resistance with your kiddo, or something like that, anything like that, really, just pull out this book, Recipes for a Sweet Child, and you will find guidance there. And I love it. I
Or
love,
if
love
you're
it.
just like, I really am hungry and I want to make a delicious treat. Oh, I can turn this into homeschooling. Let's make it a lesson. So it
That's
works
true.
reversely too. And we've even got in the back of the book, we do have bakery terms. So for you, so like if older children are doing it themselves and they're like, what does it mean to fold something in? Then we explain how to do that. What is a double boiler? Or, just some of those things that we don't think about. So we have a glossary of terms in the back as well.
Oh, I don't know what a double boiler is, or folding something, what that means either. So
Well, now you
I'm
can
glad
look it
you
up
got
and sound super smart. I
that.
watch a lot of baking shows, so that's the only reason I know.
Okay, this is a double boiler. Mm-hmm.
Science, math, I mean, there's so many things.
Yeah, there is. And you've done such a great job putting it together too, in such an easy to understand format. I really appreciate that.
Well,
It's
thank you.
almost like you got into my head and you knew what I needed to what I needed things to how I needed the book to be laid out so that I can follow it in a simple to understand way. So you did that. uh, I just can't
Well,
talk
that was the
highly enough.
goal, so
This book is just, I just can't stop emphasizing about how wonderful it is. Yeah, so go to homeschoolandhumor.com/Katie and you will learn more about her book. It's going to be launching August 8th. And if you pre-order it now, you get tons of activity packs. Can you tell us about the activity packs they get right now?
yeah, so I'm really excited about that pre-order bonus bundle because it incorporated like all my favorite things about the book. Like we touched on that. So for example, there's something called Encourage My Tween Child's Heart by Tara Lee Felix. So we're touching on the importance of those connections with your kids, which is big in the book. And then we have Food from Around the World by Wright Bonnie Rose. And that's tons of notebooking and all related to food. It's super fun. I'm excited to do that with my kids this year. And then we have Mama's Heart Journal from Jessica Anderson, which again, touching on moms and really encouraging you as a mom. So important. And then we have Print and Pray Scriptures for your kids and you. It's a prayer pack by Carrie Beck. And so that is, again, we're talking about the Bible being at the forefront and how to do that. And then my own Family Faith Building Bundle, which is 140 pages of Bible games and activities and a devotion and another recipe and all sorts of things, homeschool resources, planning resources. I mean, it's just like everything in that Family Faith Building Bundle to make it fun, meaningful, and memorable. And that goes along well with my first book, Dishing Up Devotions. So if you have that book, a lot of those go along well with some of those character building devotions we have in that one. So.
All right. Now, if they order your book after August 8th, they don't get these activity packs.
They don't get them. So these different bloggers were so generous. They have allowed these paid products of theirs to be free for this whole duration. And so they end those coupons on August 8th. So if you're a day late, I mean, like you could probably email me and beg me and I would give you mine. But I can't ask that of these generous donors. So you could pay for those products, but it's much better to just get your book now, get those freebies now before they're gone, because they will change your homeschool year for sure.
Yeah. So you're a day late and $1 short. You won't get it.
I know. I'm sorry. If it was my own products, like it was something, but yeah, they've been very generous for so many months. And so, yes, get it before August 8th. Don't miss out. Please don't email me on August 9th and say, Katie, I didn't do it, because I will cry with you.
Yeah. So August 8th, that's such an exciting day for your book to be released. Are you excited?
Yes. And funny story. So when I was 8 years old, I wanted a favorite number, and I decided my favorite number was 8. And so 8 has always been my favorite number. I wanted my husband to marry me on 8808, but he refused to wait 3 years. So we had to get married on 8605, which just does not roll off the tongue at all. 8 is new beginnings. And so when the publisher told me it was going to be August 8th, I just thought, wow, God, that's so special. It's a new beginning and a wonderful season. So I am so excited for you to hold it in your hands and love it as much as Richie and I do.
That is so funny when
it really is soft. It is velvety.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so funny when God does those kinds of things for us. You know, I just love those kinds of almost like serendipitous things, but it's God-given things. I love those.
Yeah, he just reminds us that he knows us, right? That he loves us and he's in the details. They matter to him, and he's so faithful and so wonderful. And so I agree. It just helps you to know he's with you as you're walking out that path.
Yeah, God is in the details. I like that. Okay, so we are just rolling right along. It's been so wonderful chatting with you. Let's see if we have any questions just in case. I don't see any there.
While you're checking, I will say at my website at recipesforasweetchild.com, you can actually get the first recipe, which is the Don't Blow It lava mug cake. So that is available free, and it has the little baking buddy conversation connection there for you. So you can go there and print that off and get started. If you don't know what a mug cake is, it is literally making a cake in a mug in a microwave. And so in less than 5 minutes, if you ever just like have a craving for chocolate or whatever, you can just throw one of these together, and they're so delicious. Kids get to make their own. So my kids have favorite mugs. And so we, make our little mug cakes, and it's just a great time. And we're talking about anger and not, how lava explodes when it builds up. And so we don't want our anger to explode like lava and hurt other people around us. And so that is available if you're just wanting a little sneak peek while you wait for your book to arrive. Though I'll tell you too, if you order from christianbook.com, they actually have been sending the book early. They're the only one. I've never seen it before. They got theirs in and they started shipping. So everybody who ordered from Christian Book has gotten their book early. So if you want your book early, you can order it from there. And I think they have it
There
on
you
sale
go.
right now too for like $14.99 instead of $19.99. So it's a good
Wow.
place to stock up on all your homeschool stuff and throw a couple copies in there for you and a friend.
That's right. What is the URL for that pre-order you're talking about? Or the
So recipesforasweetchild.com. So the title of the book, don't forget the S.
Okay.
So she can throw that in there so you can grab that. And you'll just see it like at the top, it says like, have a little taste. And you just click that and download a nice little PDF for you to get started.
And it's called Mug Recipes or what?
Yeah, it's Don't Blow It Lava Mug Cake.
Okay.
And that one too, like, so everybody's played The Floor is Lava, right? And so that's the family activity for the week too, is just playing that. And so there's lots of little tie-ins there, but super fun way to kick off the book.
Now, is it mug with the G or
Mug?
mud?
Yep. Mug
Mug.
with a G. So, because you make it in a coffee mug.
Okay. All right. That's cool. I'm going to look into that too, because yesterday we were talking about let's make one of those Starbucks knockoff cake pops. And I was looking into some recipes, and it takes 4 hours in the freezer. I was like, maybe we can do this like in another day or two. So I'm glad. I'm going to look into that today.
You're doing the wrong recipe if you're doing one that takes 4 hours. You should be able to make your cake and just freeze it for about 20 minutes or so. But I love cake pops, so I'm with you on their deliciousness. But yes, this is a good, just quick and easy. I want something good and I want it now and I don't want to wait or go to the store. So,
do you have any cake pop recipes in your book?
I don't think I do, but you know what? I'm doing a Christmas devotional that I'm working on right now for Advent, so I might try to help you out, Richie. 2024 coming next year.
Okay.
But I'll look and see if I have my recipe somewhere that I written down somewhere that I can send you for the cake pops, but
okay,
maybe I'll throw it in there somewhere.
You. My kiddos love cake pops. But Starbucks is so expensive, and if I get them a cake pop and me a coffee, it's like $20.
For real. I'm like, when did they get up to $3+? So yeah, no.
Yeah.
Get me a box cake recipe, scoop of frosting, mix it together with some white chocolate drizzle, and call this thing good and ready to eat.
Yeah, I don't even bake enough, but I have all the ingredients to just sitting there. I want to use them. And I'm going
Send one my way. I do love cake pops.
Yeah. It's been fun. So let's go ahead and let's just I'm looking through my little questions here. There was one that I wanted to ask you. Sorry, I think it's down here. What's the most significant lesson you learned on the journey? Okay, yeah, that's what it was. All right, so as a parent and as an author, you've shared your struggles, your challenges, your victories, and you put it in your book. So can you tell us what was the most significant lesson that you learned in your journey creating recipes for a sweet child?
I think that's a good question. The most significant would probably be that I don't have to have all the answers. So often we feel such pressure to have the answers, and we think that our kids, when they're coming to us with a problem, that we need a specific answer for them. But what I've learned is that if we'll sit with them in the question, if we'll sit with them in the struggle, and we'll just let them know that we're with them, that can be the most powerful thing that we can do for our kids. Just them knowing that we love them, that we're for them, and that we're willing to listen and support them is transformative in a way that you wouldn't imagine possible. And so I would just say, don't worry if you don't know the answer. Don't be afraid to search out the answers together. But just like with our faith, there's so many things that we don't know exactly how to answer. We can't give them a clear-cut this is it, and then we're done. And so it's an important lesson for our kids to learn that there's not always an answer or an easy answer, and that's where our faith comes in. And so just having someone who will be with us and knowing that Jesus will be with us as we wrestle through that problem is something that they'll take with them for a lifetime. So don't worry if you don't have it all figured out. Don't worry if you aren't a Bible theologian and don't know, all the things. Like, that's okay. That's not what your kids need. Your kids need to know that you love them, that you're for them, and that you'll walk with them along the journey.
I think that is a beautiful note to end this interview on. I love that. If y'all have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Again, we will come back to you and answer them. You can also either go to christianbook.com to order your book because they're shipping it out early and on sale, or you can pre-order it at homeschoolandhumor.com/Katie, and you can get the activity packs. Christian Book's not doing the activity packs, right? Only through your pre-order page,
through my website.
right?
But that link that you are sending them to actually has the links for all Christian Book or Amazon or the places. So that if they just go to homeschoolandhumor.com/Katie, they can pre-order it there. They can get their bundle there. It's just easy. The recipe that I mentioned should actually be at that same link too. So that's the easiest way for them to get it all.
Okay, perfect. So homeschoolandhumor.com/Katie, and you'll have everything there. Your pre-order activity packs you'll be able to download instantly and get today and play with while you're waiting for your book to come out. And all the other links that you want to just look around, and the recipes there. So wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Katie, for chatting with me and allowing me to do this interview with you. I'm super excited about the launch of your book, Recipes for a Sweet Child.
Thank you so much, Richie. It's truly my pleasure. I love you, and your ministry has brought so much joy to me as well and helped me along my homeschool journey. So I just am honored that you took the time to share, and I love hearing how the book is blessing you and your sweet family.
Oh, thank you. And you are going to be such a blessing to all the families out there as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for watching us and joining us on this interview. And we will talk to you later.